Well, hello everybody. This is Linda from North Central Texas, and it rained a little bit today and it's kind of been cloudy, so I figured it'd be a perfect time to kind of get out here and make this short video. First of all, I wanted to come in the greenhouse here and check on my little rosebush cuttings that I've got in here. And they're looking pretty good. The biggest key to doing your rosebush, rooting your rose bushes, is to keep that soil moist. You might have to come in and check on them once or twice a week and put a little bit of water to them. You don't want them sitting in water, but you do definitely want to keep that dirt in that pot damp. So your rose bushes will go ahead and root, and those stems will stay alive. Because if you let it dry out, well, of course, the stems are going to dry out as well. And mine are still looking good. I mean, they're still pretty and green. Of course, they haven't been in the pots that long. But, yeah. And you can see here, I went ahead and did some cuttings off of my yellow rose bush out front. So I do have 4 yellow rose bushes that I'm trying to root right there. So maybe I can come up with a couple more yellow roses of Texas that I can put in the yard. The main reason I wanted to get on here was we talked a lot about saving okra, peppers, cantaloupe seed, that type of thing. Well, I wanted to tell you, I know I showed you how to let the okra dry on the plant and then break it off and get your seeds out of it. Well, I can tell you another hint. If you don't want to go to the trouble to get the seeds out of that pod, just let that pod dry on your bush. Let it dry completely. Break it off and throw it in a paper bag or a plastic bag and just store it like that. That way, when springtime comes around, you'll be able to just break the pot open and get your seeds out of it. And the marigolds right here, I think I showed you how to get those, and I don't really see any dried ones on here. I'm sorry about that. I just hit the camera. Well, I was going to show you a dried marigold, but I don't see any right now. But anyway, as soon as those little flowers dry up, they'll, kind of close up a little bit. And just let them dry completely up. And when the stems are brown and brittle, just break that little flower pod off, throw it in a baggie, and keep it till next year, and you'll have plenty of marigold seeds. And I've been keeping my own eye on my little tomatoes right there. Look at that. That's some big tomatoes, because they're not finished growing yet. They've not even started to turn colors. So they're not cherry tomatoes, and they're not grape tomatoes. These look like they might be about the size of a good sized Roma tomato, but I'm not sure what the type of tomato it is. It came up voluntarily in that same pot with my Malabar spinach that's growing. So I'm not sure exactly what type it is. But you can see my Brussels sprouts that I put in my tower the other day. Most of them are doing pretty good. I mean, my cat would get out of the way. Most of them are doing pretty good. They're starting to put out leaves, even the ones that were basically a stalk. That one's starting to put out more leaves. You want attention, don't you, huh? You want attention. Yeah, he wants attention this morning. He's a nice kitty. I guess I should give him a name. I don't think anybody else is giving him one. And you can see that little sprig is starting to grow leaves. So that shows you can just, you know, pull up the smallest plant, and if you'll keep it watered, it'll survive and it'll grow and make a mature plant that'll give you Brussels sprout leaves. Or, you know, if you want to spray them with stuff, then I guess you could get pesticides and spray them, but I don't like to do that, so that's the reason I harvest my leaves instead. And I did move some of my 4 dish pans over here because I found they were getting too much sun on the other side of the shed. So I moved them on this side where they're in the shade part of the day, and they've been looking a lot better. And I noticed I started seeing a little bit of red down in there. I don't know if you can see that, where they're starting to form some little radishes. And the kitty cat's here brushing on my tripod, so he may knock it out of my hand. And I'm hoping that will come back to life since I've moved it over here. It's not completely dead, so it still has a chance. And I think, let's see, I don't remember what that was. Stir fry mixture is what it was. It may have been just still too hot on it. But getting back to the peppers, a lot of people don't like to cut up hot peppers. I know I don't. I mean, I wore gloves when I made my cowboy candy the other day because, you know, I know how those hot peppers are. Look at those tomatoes down in there. They're hiding from me, or trying to, because they fell over into the pepper plants. But getting back to the peppers, what I was going to say, if you want to save your hot pepper seed, and I think it's a good idea for everybody to do that, because like I say, I save my hot pepper seed, and I plant hot pepper every year, even though I don't eat that much hot pepper, to keep the ants away from my plants. Because if you'll plant your hot peppers all throughout your garden, it helps keep the ants away. And I wanted to get on here and tell you an easy way. And that's a banana pepper right there, and I thought it was a hot pepper. Look at there. That's a banana pepper. I'm going to break that one off. That cat will get out of my way. And we'll take that in the house. Whew. Got a couple of mosquitoes out here right now. But anyway, getting back to the peppers. If you don't want to chop them up to get the seed out of them right then, do like I did last year. Most of my hot peppers that I saved, I let them dry. Or I let them get as mature as possible on the bush. And then I picked them. I brought them in the house. And I just spread them out on a paper towel on the counter. And I let them dry. Just completely let them dry up. And when they dry up, you can put them in a baggie like that. Now, I've got all kind of different peppers. Hot peppers. Every one of those is hot peppers in this baggie. And that's how I saved them last year. So when you get ready to plant your peppers, your hot peppers, and I've got to go in the house because the mosquitoes are trying to eat me up. But as I was saying, if you're going to save your hot pepper seed, then if you don't want to cut them up right away, let them dry. Bring them in the house, lay them out on a paper towel or something, just like you did your seed. And it may take them a while to dry, but they'll dry out. They'll get completely hard. Or if you got a dehydrator, go ahead and stick them in a dehydrator. But see, this is one that I busted open in the spring just to get part of the seed out of it. It's still got plenty of seed down in there. But it's as dry as a potato chip. And that's another hot pepper. They're all extremely hot peppers that I've got in here. All different kinds of hot pepper. And I plant them and save all my seed just so I can put them in the garden. Grow the hot peppers mixed in with all my other plants. So it keeps the ants away from your garden. I mean, you still may get a few ants here and there. But I guarantee you, those ants don't come anywhere near a hot pepper plant for some reason. They don't like the hot pepper. But that's another way that you can save your hot pepper seed, is just pick them off the bush, lay them out, let them dry, let them get like potato chips. And then you can store them in a plastic bag till you can take them out, pop them open, and get your seeds for next year. And that way you're not actually, I didn't want to bust one open, but I had several that cracked open and I had a bunch of seed down in the bottom of the bag. And since I didn't care what kind it was, as long as it was a hot pepper, I dug down in there and got all the seed out of the bottom of the bag. And that's mostly what I planted in my garden this summer, was all the seeds that fell in the bottom of this plastic bag. And you can see I've got a ton of peppers right there. I don't really need to even save seed from the peppers from this year, but I will. And another good thing about this, once you dry your peppers, you can still cook with them. I mean, if you're making a pot of pinto bean chili, you know, beef and bean chili, you can take one of those peppers and just throw it in the pot. And it'll add that hot pepper flavor to your your chili, or anything else that you want to put the hot peppers in your recipe. So just because they're dried out doesn't mean that they're only good for seed. You still can cook with those. I mean, just like they dry the hot pepper flakes, you know, in the jar you buy at the store in the herb and spice section. That's not a thing in the world but seeds that they dried. The peppers they dried, and they got all the dried seeds and put them in that jar to sell. Hot pepper seed, red hot pepper, or red pepper is a seed, as they call it, or something like that. Pepper flakes. And then the powder is just these dried peppers crushed all up, made into a powder form, and you buy that already crushed in a powder form in your jar in the spice section of the store. So you can save them just like this and use the peppers right from your garden instead of having to buy the hot pepper. The hot pepper flakes or the pepper flour, crushed hot pepper and that kind of thing. There's some more stuff I got the other day just picking in the garden. I cut up that whole cantaloupe, the big one I had, and I cut up 2 of the honeydews, and I've got 3 small ones here. And I've still got tons of them out there on the vine ripening. And I picked a handful of my tomatillos, my okra. I need to cook the okra. And I still got a thing of pepper here. I wished I'd have cut up the rest of that pepper, and I could have filled up another jar of cowboy candy. But I'm going to keep them there because, like I said, I don't eat that many hot peppers. But I will save some more seed from them. And I probably will make another couple of jars of the cowboy candy with peppers that I get out of my garden. And I'll mostly use those as gifts probably for at Christmas time. I know my son likes hot peppers. I mean, he'll eat them, so he'll like the cowboy candy. I'll give him a couple of jars of that probably next time I go over there. Or maybe wait till Christmas and give it to him. I'm not sure. But yeah, there's all kind of tricks and things you can do for your garden. And even these little tomatoes, like I said, you can take the little tomato and just let them dry. Let them dry up. Let them get hard and crisp. Throw them in a plastic bag and save them for next year. Crack them open. Get your seed out of it. Or even better, you can just take the dried little tomato, throw them in your pot, cover them over with a little bit of dirt, and start watering it. And I'll guarantee you'll have tomato plants come up from that little dried out tomato. So But I've saved a ton of seed. I mean, I've been storing seed like crazy. I got all these envelopes of seed just from what I've been getting out of the garden from this year. And I just turned my sugar bowl over. I didn't mean to do that. Oh well, I'll get it up in a minute. But you can see I've got tons of seed here already. I got okra, hot pepper mix, banana peppers, green bell peppers, winter squash, footlong beans, cantaloupe, honeydew, oriental green beans, footlong beans. I mean, you buy that in the store and you don't even get as many seeds as I've got in each one of these packages. And you're going to pay about $2 a package for those seeds. And I've got, see if I can count them, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I got at least $24 or more worth of seed right there. More because, like I said, I've got enough honeydew or Kajari melon seed in this one package that they would have divided it up and made probably 4 packages of seed to sell in the store for about $2 a little envelope of seed. So that would have been $16 right there, the seed that I got in that one envelope. So you know what I'm saying? Don't waste your seeds, save them. I mean, I know if you got a whole vine full of cantaloupe, you're not going to want to save every single one of them. Depends on how many cantaloupe you want to, put out next year. But, you get 20 little seed that sprout 20 plants, and those plants survive and start putting out cantaloupe, you're going to have a lot of cantaloupe. So, yeah, save your seed. Replant your seed for the next year. And you can do the tomatillos the same way. I mean, they have seeds inside them just like a tomato. So you could save a couple of your tomatillos, let them dry up, or put them in the dark and then take them out next year and plant them. And you'll have a ton of plants that would come up just from that one little tomatillo. And like I said, you could take your okra, just let it dry on the plant, break it off, and if you know it's good and completely dried, just throw it in a plastic bag. Break you off a couple of them and save them for seed. Throw them in a baggie, and you got all the okra seeds you need for the next year. And same with the banana pepper. I'm not going to dry my banana pepper and put it in a plastic bag because I'll have it mixed up with my hot peppers. My banana pepper seed that I save, I will dry and put in one of my little brown envelopes. So I know it's the sweet banana pepper. The same way with my bell pepper. I save them all the time in a brown bag, little brown envelope. So I can write on them that it is a sweet bell pepper so I don't get it mixed up with the hot pepper. So, yeah, I need to go ahead and pick out some more of those hot peppers. Make me just a couple more jars of my cowboy candy. And then probably the rest of them that I get for the rest of the season, I'll just bring in and maybe throw them in the dehydrator and help them along to dry out. I don't know. Or I may just put them on the counter and let them dry. But that'll give me enough pepper seed to last me forever. I mean, I got enough hot pepper seed there to last me for several years, even without saving anymore. So, but yeah, I wanted to get on here and just tell you that little thing, that if you don't want to cut up those hot peppers to get the seed out to save them, let them dry, just dry the whole pepper. Just leave it intact, lay it out somewhere and just let it dry. Let it get crisp as a potato chip and then throw it in a plastic bag. Pop those pods open next year, or just throw the whole pod in your pot and start watering it. And you'll have a ton of little pepper plants come up. So, because I forgot to mention that the other day, and I got to thinking about that. I said, well, I know a lot of people don't want to have to cut open those hot pepper pods like the jalapenos or the cayenne peppers or the habaneros because they're extremely hot. So you might just want to know that trick to just let them dry. Just dry the whole thing and then put them in a baggie when they get good and dry. And with that, I'm going to bid you a good day. I hope all of you are doing fantastic today. Please like, share my videos. Subscribe to my channel so my channel will grow. And that I know you like the content of my channel, so I'll continue posting information. And I will see you in my next video. Y'all have a blessed afternoon.